Welcome in Cannabiz Conversation Season 4 here up and running. We are already having fun. If you've missed the first couple episodes of the season, go back and check those out. And don't forget, this season is brought to you by Green Lane Communications, the PR industry. They're an agency that cares about the industry. They're an industry an agency that cares about their brands. I've really enjoyed Michael Meyer, talking with him, being around him, and seeing what his company has done. If you don't believe in PR, you're missing the boat when you're a company. I'll tell you that right now. If you want to stand out, be different, be heard, be remembered, head over to greenlanecommunication.com to get started. Today's show is a fun one. We have a return guest. If I had like a loud alert system, I would do that. Actually, we try and have fun wherever possible. So, but this is the first time we've had a returning guest, and it would be fitting that it be the Sorting Robotics CEO, Nohtal. Nohtal, how are you, man?
Hey, man, I'm doing all right. Glad to be the return guest.
Wonderful. Love having you. It's been wonderful. And as I said in the pre-show to you, I've been seeing you guys everywhere. I love it. I love the coverage. I love seeing Sorting Robotics. I recently saw that you hit the Inc. top 5,000 list. Tell me what that means to you and the organization to be a part of that list, man.
Yeah, I mean, actually, I have it pulled up on one of my other screens right now. Man, it's actually pretty cool. We hit 1,400, 1,400. So not 1,401, not 1,399, 1,400, right on the money. So it's pretty cool. I mean, I remember when I was in high school growing up and like reading Inc. magazine back when it was like a magazine, and like seeing the list of all the companies, and it's pretty cool. I guess the way they rated it is by like 3-year year-over-year growth, and we kind of like landed it here, and then they also include like your revenue and stuff like that. And so I mean, it's nice to have some external like acknowledgement of what we're doing, right? And in such a public way. It's cool. It feels good, and the whole team here like is really jazzed about it as well.
And you should be proud of it, man. It's a big deal. If you think about 5,000 companies across the globe, across the United States, that's a lot. And there's still so many companies out there that aren't listed. Did you see a lot of other cannabis brands represented at all, Nohtal, along the way? Have you seen anybody else in the list?
I don't know. I didn't even look at it. I didn't even look to the other people on the list. I was just scrolling and seeing like me and then the people above me and the people below me. I was just like, oh, okay. I did see though that there was a guy who was like, he's right behind us, and he was like 4,700 something the year before, and then he like upgraded to 1,401 this year, and then I saw some people that dropped down, but like no one in the cannabis side. I haven't really looked there. I don't know if you can search by industry or something, but no.
Well, I think it's impressive what you guys have carved out for you, man. I think you're onto something really cool. I think people love the idea of where it all fits in. Obviously, I think that robots, AI is a heavy buzzword right now with people, but you guys are doing something different. And when I say different, I saw recently the Moonglue. Okay, Nohtal, what? Tell me how we got to the Moonglue, and tell folks what it's all about, because it seems like obvious to me that we need something like this if you're going to be in the business of furnishing the pre-roll, but I'll let you take it from there.
Yeah, Moonglue is aptly named because we kind of paired it for our customers that have the Stardust machine, and the Stardust system is our keef coating robot. So it either does keef coating or THCA, and that's what you normally coat the joint with, but usually the adhesive layer between the joint and the particulate matter is either distillate, which maybe half of the industry uses. They will either paint on distillate, or when they use Stardust, they'll spray it and create like a nice thin layer of distillate, and then it'll attach all of the keef for the THCA. But what other people will use is they'll use Arabic gum, or they'll use like a cigar glue, kind of food compatible adhesive, and not so much of a distillate. And usually they do that because they're in a state where like distillate's really expensive and they want to be more cost conscious, and it's a lot easier to work with, especially when you're doing it by hand. And so we had a bunch of customers that were making their own glue, and so they're basically mixing it themselves, and they just kept running into all these issues where it didn't last for very long. So if they mixed too much, then it would like rot and go bad after a few days, because it's like a biocompatible material that's like organic based, so things go bad if you just leave them out. And then it became kind of this like problem for some of our customers, and they said, hey, well, can you just like can you just give us something so we can put inside the machine? And initially we just targeted for just our customers that were doing glue, and they said, hey, what can you give us? And we said, yeah, we'll make this for you, here you go. And then now they've all adopted Moonglue, and now we're starting to expand it to, there's a bunch of customers that keep coat joints, but they don't do the volumes required to justify buying our machine, which is several $100,000, and they need to be doing 20 or 50,000 joints a month that are keep coated. There's a lot of operators, especially like in the smaller states like Montana and stuff, where they're still just doing it by hand because they don't have quite the volume yet to justify automation. And so we said, okay, we'll just start selling it to everybody, because this is a shelf-stable Arabic gum-based glue. And currently, the only other options that they have are either make it by hand, or they can buy these other kind of cigar glue type materials. But those tend to taste really weird when they burn, and so people don't really like that. And then they're also extremely expensive. So ours is like $80 a gallon, and the closest, there aren't any other competitors of doing Arabic gum based, but the other kind of cigar glue based, those are like $140, $160 a gallon. So it gets pretty expensive.
Man, I'll tell you what, the innovation never ends with this guy, folks. If you don't follow his stuff, you should, because it's just unbelievable. I think that's one of my favorite product stories. I love a good product story that comes out of a client need. It's really what I've, my company in automotive that we've developed for the last 12 years. That's how it started. That's how it's grown. This will be the biggest year we've ever had. And it's only because customers have come to us and said, hey, we can't figure out a fix to this. Can you find one? I love problem solving. I love putting all that together. I know you do. You're a problem solver on a whole nother level. I want to ask you about a funny, it's not funny, I guess. It's more of an interesting post that you put up. And I want to get your reaction, because we have this conversation offline with people all the time. So I want to have it online with you, and you're a good candidate. You put up a post asking about a WordPress developer, if anyone knew any.
Yeah.
And we have a thing internally that we do not do that. We do not go to LinkedIn to ask anyone if they know anyone, for various reasons, but like it gets out of control. And if you look at the post history, you're over like 140 engagements, 180 plus comments. Like the thing goes nuts. First, let me ask you, would you ever do that again? And second, did you get what you were looking for?
Well, to be honest, that post was an experiment. So I've been messing around a lot with LinkedIn recently. I think it's really important. I think creator, founder led brands are where things are going. Like the stories of companies are becoming less and less interesting, but the stories of the founders who lead those companies are starting to take the forefront. So having some positioning there. I'm not really into Instagram so much, and I think it's probably not really the best use of my time, but I think LinkedIn is probably a little bit better, because I'm talking mostly towards like executives and stuff like that, like people that are on LinkedIn and like people that are conducting business in like a business setting. So I've been exploring how to utilize LinkedIn. And so, I mean, actually over the past like 3 months, ending in maybe was it June or something like that, I was doing these flat 30s. I don't know if you saw those, Sean.
Nohtal. It's the next. You can't see it here, but it's the next quote. It's the next question on the book. Is I want to hear all about the flat 30, how it came, where it came from. But I don't want to lose focus of this whole experiment. So
the flat 30s are a part of this experiment. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, bring me to the experiment, and then we'll walk backwards into the 30.
Okay. So I did those flat 30s. We'll get back to that. But and so I've been experimenting with LinkedIn, and I've been spending a lot more time on LinkedIn than I was before. And I came across this post of this guy who was like, it was quite funny. His post was, if you ever want to feel loved, then just say that you're looking for a WordPress developer on LinkedIn. I was like, what the hell? And like that was the whole line. And then there was a picture on it, and the picture showed the amount of messages he got. And it was like the previous weeks were like 2, 3, and then that week it was like 400. I'm like, dude, there's no way. This is some AI crap. Like, there's no way.
No, dude,
I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna try it. And so I posted it, and I was just like, oh my god, like, because I wanted to see what he was talking about, and like he was not kidding. Like, within the first 3 days, the engagement was like wild, and I was like, oh, okay, and so now I'm thinking, like, is that true of just like WordPress developers, or can you like do these other posts? Because I posted stuff like that before, like for roles that we're like actively looking for the company. I'm like, oh, does anyone know robotics engineers that work in like automation or like are focused on automation or something like that? And I get like two people or something.
It's totally the word ban. I think it's what brings out the AI of all of these social media platforms. I think it brings out all the people. It's that one line, dude. No, you again look at your last 20 posts, right? Like 20, 30 likes, whatever, and then 150. It was insane to watch that, and I'm so glad you did it as an experiment. And it's even funnier that you're not even looking for a web.
I mean, I don't like. it's kind of fucked up, but like it's.
You know what? Dude, there's way more fucked up things in this world right now. Nohtal, them.
That's true.
Playing games on LinkedIn, bro. Please.
I think there's like the Ukraine war, and then there's like 5 million levels, and then there's posting a WordPress request. Yeah. So I was just trying to see if that was true, because like there's so like everything is like a lie, right?
Yeah.
Like everything there's so much LinkedIn just like garbage. Like, I replaced 12 of my employees with this N8N automation. I'm like, dude, no, you didn't, right? Like, and half the time I actually like will engage and I'll like see if this is true. I'm like, oh my god, this is just like LinkedIn influencer type crap. But then this one I was like, okay, this is like low energy. Let's see how this goes.
I think it's the best part of the whole thing, because there's just nowhere better to do it, try it, and see if it works, man.
Well, yeah, because it's like takes no energy.
No, except for like deleting the 100 DMs I'm sure you got afterwards.
Yeah, so the DMs were like quite intrusive. Actually, the craziest thing is some guy found my Instagram, which my Instagram doesn't have my name on it, and it's not really like linked to any of my other things. But he found my Instagram and then DM'd me on Instagram. And then he DM'd me on my personal email and then my professional email. And what else? There was like one other place that he like found me on, and I was like, what the I was like, what?
This guy just scrapes the internet for you now that you were looking for a web developer.
Yeah, he's like, now I have a stalker. Like, and so but yeah, I got a ton of DMs. I think I probably had, and that was actually a little bit frustrating because I do like conduct business on LinkedIn, and so like I message people and stuff, and so then like I'd scroll in to see if like someone replied to my message, and there's like 30 DMs. I'm like, damn, I gotta like figure these all out.
See, that's when the joke turns into real life bullshit. You know what I mean? Gets in your way, crowds your inbox. You know what though? Still some of the best shit I've seen online. So I thank you for it. Let's go ahead and back into it, because the next question is the flat 30. I saw you start it. I have no idea what it means. I'm not an internet trend guy. I don't know. I don't even know what it. I saw it and I thought, I think this means I'm going to see Nohtal for 30 days on the internet consistently. It seemed like you went well past that, but why don't you just tell me what is it? How did it start? And then we'll get into things I saw along the way that I have questions about, because some of those things were they're beautiful. They were just wonderful, just moments of the internet, again, to make you smile in a time where I think smiling is less than it should be.
So I started that. It was a Q2 experiment, right? I basically did it for 90 days. And this is like me trying to get into LinkedIn and like understand like what makes sense there and how to grow a following, how to go viral, what like works, what doesn't work. And LinkedIn's just like weird, right? It's not like YouTube and it's not like Instagram or TikTok, but LinkedIn is like trying to very much become like a weird professional TikTok type of thing, because if you open the app, there's a video button for you to just scroll through videos. So like they're very much pushing videos. And so I was like, okay, well, LinkedIn's still pretty new into this type of format. Like, let me see if I can exploit it and like make my little mark on it, right? And so I'd been doing posting on LinkedIn pretty consistently over the past couple of years, but then now I want to be like, I want to see like, okay, is video really good? Is video going to trend? Like, what is video going to do? What type of videos work well on LinkedIn? So I said, I'm going to assume that LinkedIn is basically YouTube circa 2012, where the things that did well were like vlogs and kind of this short form content that wasn't, like a minute long, but it was like a little bit longer, like funny videos, like Dude Perfect type stuff, right?
Yeah.
Where it was kind of like maybe scripted in a way, but it was still pretty rough back then. So I was thinking, okay, maybe that's how it is. So I said, okay, let me try to do vlogs. But because it's basically built for mobile, and we're in like the TikTok era, we all know like less than 30 seconds or less than a minute is like the key time frame. And so flat 30 was supposed to be for a flat 30 seconds. I like talk about something that day, and it's kind of like a vlog style. And that's why it was like flat 30 day whatever, and then it went all the way to day 90. And the whole idea was, how does this work? What are the results from it? Is consistency important? Is quality of video important? Like, what matters more? And how does it change? And so that was the experiment. So it was also an experiment on my end on like, how much effort do I need to put in to make this work? Does the effort correlate to higher views? Does the effort correlate to engaging with people? And then let's see what happens. And yeah, it was pretty cool. At the very end, like the very last few flat 30s, I had a much longer video where I actually like broke down. I use Taplio, which is like my LinkedIn scheduling platform.
Okay.
And it also does analytics and stuff like that. And so I walked through it to kind of see what it was like in my engagement rate and my follower count and a bunch of other metrics for the previous 90 days compared to these 90 days. And long story short, I found that I put quite a bit of energy into like making these videos, and it only really changed my my rate of followers by like 30% over the previous 90 days. But my engagement rates and my total absolute value of engagements were considerably higher. And but I just wasn't sure if like that was worth it, because it wasn't really growing the network so much. But one thing I did find was that like people like you and some of the people who I work with are like, dude, I love your flat 30s. These things are fucking great. Like, I want to see more about your fish or something.
Yeah, dude, no, that's what I'm saying. Like when you were in Canada, Banff, and it was just, seeing you in the environment. I've been a big proponent of what I call the get outside Friday post. I've been doing it for years on LinkedIn. Everyone's like, oh, it's not business, doesn't belong here. It's like, it's my business, man. I run my own company, and on Fridays, I try not to do anything like that except be in nature and go take in my surroundings, travel with my family, whatever it is. And so I appreciate all of that approach, dude. I really do. As a data nerd, I'm glad you filled me in on some of that data, because I wonder as well. In my personal page, I don't play the algorithm game. I post, 2 or 3 times a week. And Nohtal, I'll be honest with you, man. If you're looking to grow follower count and you want to try a new experiment, and I've tried it on my end, I'm pretty sure you'll find the same thing. If you really want to grow the followers, you have to just be more. No one wants to hear this. It has almost nothing to do with posting. It has all to do with engagement as either yourself or your brand within the community, within other people, being that, speaking through that. That's how I grew the pages. I ran that experiment when we launched this podcast, and we got up to 5,000 followers faster than maybe most people get there at all. Okay. And I said to the team, cool, now stop working the community, just post and let's see what happens. Mm-hmm. I think that was 2 months ago, where we've gained less than 300 followers in 3 months. We were gaining 100 a week by working the community as the brand and having the voice be heard that way. And not to say I don't see you a lot that way, but I see more of your posts than I see of your comments on other people's posts.
Yeah, I also started engaging more than I was doing before, but I think maybe I was engaging about the same, which means like maybe I comment on like 1 or 2 things a day, maybe 2, maybe 3 or something, right? And I'll reply to all the comments on my posts, and then as I'm scrolling, I'll make like a comment here, a comment there. But I think actually you're probably right, where I made a lot of these posts, and although my follower count increased, and I think actually like I just passed 5,000 like this week. But before, when I started, I was at like 4,000 or 3,000 or something like that in the beginning of Q2. but I didn't see like a massive increase in followers. Like you're right. I think the engagement is probably significantly more. I think it's just significantly more driving towards sharing and having people like come to your content, which is kind of weird, right? Because that's not how. That's really not how like Instagram works.
Right. It's not how it's built. And I don't have experience outside of LinkedIn. I mean, all my companies, the podcast, everyone's represented outside of here, but my own personal usage and growth of anything has to do with LinkedIn. That's how I find great guests, how I found you in the first place. So it's one of those things that I utilize, but your flat 30, man, it's fun. That's what I saw from it. What I saw from it was you having fun, you just kind of being the California, scientist, smart kid that you are. But as I've said to you on the first show, you're just a normal dude. And that really came across, man. So I hope you continue to do some more things like that, because it was fun to see you having fun with something. And again, 30 seconds, 40 seconds, not the end of the world. But you do a nice job at it.
Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, I think I saw a post by one of my friends, and he like did like some research based on a bunch of other founders, and it seems like the highest level of engagement that they saw and reach and like kind of just overall content that did well were founder stories, like kind of like founder campfire stories sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think I'm going to start it again, but I'm not going to do flat 30s. I think that was like a vlog post of like me trying to figure out what was going on. And I think what I'll probably end up doing, probably not now. I mean, I'll probably do like Q4 as I like kind of set it up, but I think I'll probably do founder stories. Because I mean, I've been running my company for 7+ years now. I have a lot of stories, right? I have a lot of like things that went awry, things that are just like normal, things that are whatever.
Yeah.
And I think I'll probably end up doing like one post a week, and it'll be maybe not like less than 60 seconds or 30 seconds. It might be like 2 or 3 minutes where I kind of go a little bit more deeply into a longer form of a story. And I think that is where I'm going to see a different change, and hopefully I'll like get more engagement or whatever. But I think that'll be the next thing I do, and I'll run that for a quarter, and I'll see how that goes, and then I'll send you the link actually after I like kind of run that whole process and I go through the data, and I'll send it to you so you can kind of see the video.
Yeah, let's see it, man. I love it, and that's why we started the show in the first place, was to tell founder stories, hear what people were doing. As a founder myself, like I said earlier, it's been 12 years, and we've been through a lot, seen a lot. And when we first started this company, my wife and my business partner were adamant that I did not go on social media. Because, I'm a particular human, and I'm an acquired taste, as most say. And so they were like, please don't go on social media. And then about 2 years in, people were looking around, were like, well, what do we need to do to get noticed? And they both looked at me and were like, all right, it's time to put you on social media. And so, we did it, and we had fun with it. But I've tried all kinds of different iterations. And what I like to do is, and I heard it from a great LinkedIn guy, is use social media before it uses me. And I like to make sure that my life is about utilizing it where it makes sense. And I think that the way you were talking about it with the flat 30, you had mentioned your time.
Mm-hmm.
Did you find it worth your time for the bump? Or was the time to bump not correlated because your time is more valuable than the bump that you saw? What is your outcome there?
Well, yeah. So I mean, I'm not doing them anymore. So so I concluded that the amount of time that I spent on them was not worth it in terms of the bump that I saw, because I think engage or like it's hard to gauge like what LinkedIn is like really used for, like what followers really mean for LinkedIn. But if we're like looking at just metrics, it was like a 30% increase in the rate of followers gained compared to doing 1 or 2 posts a week, maybe, right? And then those are like text posts, which are like way easier to do. You don't have to edit them at all. And so I saw that and I was like, okay, well, I don't think that's worth it. Like, to me, I don't think that's worth it. To someone else, it might be worth it, right? But to me, I don't think it was worth it. And so then now that's kind of why I'm transitioning. Okay, maybe I'll do like one, also video. I think if I do stuff on LinkedIn, I'm going to focus towards it being videos, because I have a strong feeling that they have said they're pushing more videos. They're wanting to push more videos. Everything's doing that, when I talk to other creators or other like founders that do actively post on LinkedIn, all of them say like they haven't seen a lot of traction with their videos. But it's like, I feel like that shoe is going to drop at some point. And then once it drops, it's like, is it going to happen where, oh yeah, now you have all these videos, then it's a repository of data that they're going to want to like push to a bunch of people if you have a large following, and then it kind of like compounds from there. I feel like that's going to be how it is. That's similar to like how YouTube works, or how YouTube worked, where if you had, like Marcus Brownlee is a great example, right? He's been posting since he was like 13. And before any of his videos went viral, he had 300 videos before that. And once one of them went viral, all of your old videos become the rest of the content for like new followers, new subscribers to engage with. And so so I'm going to focus more on the video side, but I think I'm going to try to be a little bit different, where it's not this like daily grind type thing. And it's more like I make one good video and I see how that responds. And then maybe I mix in like text posts, because that's what some people say, but maybe it's like related to the video or something like that. I don't know. I need to like figure out exactly what makes the most sense.
Yeah, look, man, like I said, I've been trying to figure it out myself, playing around with things, doing things differently. My biggest automotive podcast actually happened by accident, because I went on a kind of a whole thing about why I don't like Tesla, and it got put all over these EV like forums and everything. It's our biggest viewed video by 10 million times the next closest competitor, and it all of a sudden started to backfill a bunch of other content. People were writing comments the size of books, and you were just like, how did this happen? I've been doing the same thing. It was like episode 235. Okay. So you're like, okay, what did it? But it was just about timing. It was about, the right place, right time. And if you get a link in Reddit, which is what happened to me, someone linked the show in Reddit, and it went bananas, and people were losing their minds. And some people were on the other side, totally in agreement. And it was so funny. It was right down the middle. But for 3 years, after that show, I'd wake up to an inbox notification of another comment, another this, another that on that one episode. And it was just like, wow, unbelievable how it all comes together. Nohtal, we're going to close this show out with what we call the hot hits. Don't forget, hot hits and the season and the episode brought to you by Green Lane Communication, the PR industry, the PR company for the cannabis industry is what I've been trying to say here. They're one of the best. Nohtal uses them. We have plenty of people we know use them. Michael Meyer and his team are absolutely unbelievable. If you're looking to turn heads, be remembered, look no further than greenlanecommunication.com. Let's go with the hot hits. Quickly, in as best as you can tell us, what is reschedule or deschedule? Does Nohtal have an opinion?
As in probability wise, or
as in preference followed by probability?
Oh, preference, deschedule, obviously. Probability, reschedule.
Okay, see? That's what we're looking for, folks. Right, direct answers. My man gives them to you. Feel free to expound a little bit more here. Future of AI in cannabis. We see it everywhere, Nohtal. I love talking to you because you're a smart man who's been dealing in automation, robotics, AI. I think it's an overused term. You tell me, what's the future of its placement in cannabis?
Where I see the biggest place for it anywhere is in branding and advertising. And then the way I'm more focused on is probably quality control and manufacturing.
Branding and advertising. Very interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Position for you to start there. I like that.
I mean, you can make whole movies with AI now. Like,
I know.
Like, why would you ever film an advertisement? Just make it in your computer for 30 cents. Right?
Dude, every time I see this new Apple commercial where this dude deletes the cat from his picture with his wife or his girlfriend on the couch, I always think that just looks like an AI created. Everything about this just strikes me as an AI created video. But now, Nohtal, I have trouble trusting anything that I see anywhere because of AI, right? Like, my wife will show me this crazy thing that happened on TikTok. I'll be like, nope, fake. Like, I don't care. And so am I wrong? Am I being unjust to AI, or is it really taking over in the way it appears?
I mean, I think it is taking over the way it appears, and I think you're not unjust. I'm the same way. I just see stuff and I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's fake. Like, I'm like, unless I can definitely tell it's real, I just assume it's fake.
Okay, so I'm not being a negative Nancy here. I'm glad to hear that. A lot of people would say that about me sometimes. Our final question, and I think the most fitting question: what's next for Sorting Robotics, Nohtal? What's the game plan? What's on the horizon that you can share with us, my friend?
I would say next on the game plan is making sure we have the top heavy hitters using Stardust and kind of supporting them. The hemp space is huge, and it's gaining a lot of traction, even though there's like some instability in it. Like, we're spending a lot of energy this year. I mean, this year has been a big hemp year for us.
Okay.
So helping more on the hemp side, and then probably end of this year, early next year, we're having a very interesting final packaging solution that I think when we go live with it, you'll be the first phone call I make so we could demo this thing, because it's pretty badass.
Oh, ho, ho, I love it. Look, packaging came up on episode 1 with Michael Peterson, works at a dispensary out in Michigan, a great follow of mine on LinkedIn. I love the kid. If you don't follow him, you should. And he talked about packaging. I have opinions, so of course I want to hear all about this, man. I absolutely love it. You've been awesome with your time, Nohtal. As always, we really, really appreciate it. Thank you for all that you're doing, and I look forward to the new test that I assume will not be asking for a web developer.
Well, I mean, is it possible there are other keywords that blow up like that? Like, maybe I might just do like looking for a React developer or something like that.
I don't know, dude, but I almost fell for the trap because I have a couple of buddies who do it. So I almost fell for the trap and like DM'd you and like blew you up and shit. I'm like, bro, don't ever put this shit on LinkedIn. You shouldn't do this. I got a guy for you. But now knowing the truth, I just seriously, folks, if you don't know what we're talking about, go find Nohtal's feed. Go find this. It'll stick out like a sore thumb if you go through and just see everything the guy's been doing. And then there's just a one-word text fucking post. And what's aggravating to me, Nohtal, is that I've only gone like over 100, likes or whatever, maybe 2 or 3 times in the 7 years I've been doing this, because I really don't care. I don't really play it for that. But to think that that's all it took to do that is almost disheartening.
I mean, I feel like you should do it too. It's wild. I think and maybe if enough people just like do that, then everyone who has their like little LinkedIn filter thing that like notifies them for keywords that pop up, they'll have to disable it, and then we'll DDoS all the
together.
LinkedIn.
Man, Nohtal, you're absolutely the best, bud. Thanks a lot so much. Thank you to Green Lane Communication for the sponsorship. We appreciate it, beyond appreciate it. If you're looking for bold media placement, thought leadership that turns heads and gets remembered, look no further than greenlanecommunication.com to get started today with Michael Meyer and the team. Nohtal, thanks again, bud. Have yourself a great week. And everyone, we'll be doing it again next week. Tune in, and remember, our goal here is to remove the stigma and uplift the plan. Thank you so much. Have a great week.
See you.